Welcome again, everybody. If you're an early bird and you're already in, give us a sign in this chat. For viewers, welcome, everybody. Who have we got? And the annoying thing with Streamlabs is you can't see the people who are in the chat. Kind of wish I could look at Twitch and actually see who's in. Still. Evening, Joe. You doing okay? Thanks for coming. Here we are again. More Prodeus. Ratoshigan. What's up, guys? That you know, the Gamer MD83 logo in black, I think is real nice. When putting those together. Diggle Pop, good evening. 7 people already. Outstanding. Thank you all. Joe, what's the levels like? Game audio and me? I'm aware I'm bald still. And fat. Tim. Early bird. Good gracious. Cheers, Joe. Diggle Pop, Australia. Good lad. Whereabouts in Australia? I'm assuming lad. The generic colloquial lad. Seven people. I saw the tweet. You're diehard. And Torlak. Tim Smith, everybody, wearing the black Gamer MD83 logo as well. Since Anonymous went on their binge yesterday, giving out subs like making it rain. So I felt, again, it was good fun to do this whenever it was Sunday morning. And yeah, I think it's worth giving it another shot today. Sydney, nice. Nice. I worked at Tim Smith, we used to work with a chap from Sydney, didn't we? He worked on LA Noire before coming to BioWare. Black as the emo god intended. Yeah. Can I remember the chap's name? I can't. He was a super good egg. He was on Dragon Age. Sean, Jag Gears. Good evening. 11 adventurers. And they've clearly got nothing better to do at 6 o'clock mountain than spend a couple of hours watching me fail at this great... Mark! You're absolutely right. Mark. It was at that point in the evening Nick went to LinkedIn because his memory is failing him. Mark Wilson. Yeah, really good egg. Yeah, he was a good lad, really good lad, and into Jamiroquai, which is a miracle. The second Jamiroquai fan in Edmonton, at least the second who will admit to it. The first being me, of course. 6 people. See, 11 to 6. 5 people. Tuned in, saw it wasn't a pretty face, and they bailed. Well, fair play, and more power to their elbows. No more 3. I'm doing well, thanks. Doing well. For those of you tuning in, tuning in, sitting by your television sets, adjusting the dial, holding the aerial just so, expecting to see MD this evening. She's on a bit of a hiatus. For those of you who follow her on Twitter, you will have seen, very sadly, a couple of days ago, her mum passed away last Thursday, and she's not quite up to streaming yet, but I felt I'd keep the fires burning and make sure that the channel kept going. So I'm doing what little I can, and just making sure that you find followers of MD and loyal as well. Keep seeing that notification on your phones and keep having Firefox or Chrome. And Tim, it would take miracle level makeup. Yeah, so let's keep this thing going for MD, because she's feeling it at the moment. Diggle, yeah, she's only a few tons of makeup. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, it would be a mountain of makeup in which you could sculpt an attractive looking face. I think that makeup as a sculpture medium, so it's more like a prosthetic than paint. Hope she's doing okay now. She was very close with her mum. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Diggle Pop. No jokes there. She was desperately close with her, and took a huge risk, I will freely admit, moving up to Edmonton. But honestly, she has been awesome the last few days. She has been an absolute rock. And as I say, it's the least that I can do to keep things ticking over with her channel. And we're going to be playing Prodeus. I tweeted out about 20 minutes ago and tagged at Prodeus Game, the makers of this. So I'm kind of secretly, well, not so secretly now, because I'm admitting it in front of you fine people, that I'm hoping that they join and see me fail at their brilliant little game. 19 levels, which is more than you get from AAA these days. Oh, Tim Smith. We're going to talk about sculptures are only as good as their base. So, well, I find sculptures are only as good as the sculptor. It's a bad artist that blames the tools. A Sentinel boy. I am a Brit living abroad. I'm from Liverpool originally. Lived in Edmonton for getting on 9 years. 9 years, Tim. Yeah. Yes. So for those of you that are the tuning correction history, I'm not following you, but thank you for coming. So it's not on Twitter, so thanks for letting us know. Oh right, okay, yeah, cool. I was going to say something and it has it's leaked out of my head. For those that are kind of connecting tonight and clicking on that notification and expecting to see MD, you are stuck with me for the next couple of hours, and we'll fumble our way through the next Prodeus chapter. And for those of you that don't know me, how dare you? Seriously though, MD is my better half, and I'm filling in. And for those of you who don't know me, Tim Smith will be able to explain or give context to my explanation. I've been an artist in the games industry for about, a little over 17 years now. Started at Sony in 2003, then went to BioWare in 2012, and I'm now with a company called Improbable, making all kinds of exciting stuff. But at Sony worked on Formula 1, Wipeout, MotorStorm series, and at BioWare worked on Dragon Age Inquisition with Torlak in the chat here. Artist, I know, but we'll get into the definition of what artist is in a sec, Tim. You do like a dissertation, I understand. I worked on Dragon Age Inquisition, and then Mass Effect Andromeda, and then a little bit of Anthem before I left in August of 2018. So I've been with Improbable a little over 2 years. So you see all kinds of improbable branded things. My improbable branded face mask. My improbable branded moleskin notebook, which is still in the cellophane. It was a Christmas present. It arrived last week. My improbable branded pen, still in its wrapper. No longer in its wrapper. Alright, so 14 people, 14 stalwart explorers joining me for this. We've been going 11 minutes, so I should probably crack on with this. Been watching her since Sentinel Boy. Been watching her since start, and she's always been a massive fan of the Bioware EA stuff. Yeah, true enough. She and I, we encountered each other, I guess, in 2013. And yeah, rest history, as they say. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, she and I did an interview about 6.5 years ago, and it was a lot of fun. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. And as you say, the rest is history. So, 20 viewers, thank you for joining me this evening. This was good fun the other day, and hopefully it's going to be decent fun. Also, mentioned Painkiller, the seminal 2004 first-person shooter from People Can Fly, I think they were called. And might get into that a little bit if I turn out to be really, truly terrible at this, which is likely. So, let's crack on, let's get into this. And we'll see what's what. One of the things that we did last Sunday, and when I've done this thing in the past with MD, is because I've been in the games industry for so long and worked on quite a few projects, I'll do my best to answer any and all questions that you've got, and resist the temptation to carry on speaking when my knowledge and experience runs out. So if there's something that you ask that I have feelings about or opinions on, I'll do my best to make sure that they're clean and not offensive to anybody, but I'll also try not to be shy with them, because what the hell is life for? Right, let us crack on. And the social media people from Prodeus game, if you're hiding, make yourselves known, because it would be hilarious if you join me for this. Genesis Part 1, and I am festooned in Genesis things. MD, in this case, meaning Mega Drive. Right then, Part 1. After Event 1, this destroyed depot was the last remaining structure at the edge of the crater. I remember this. Did play through this a little bit on Sunday morning. For those of you who have never seen this game, it's a wonderful love letter to all of those early 90s first-person shooters in the Doom mold. Rise of the Triad, Duke Nukem, Marathon. It's pretty wonderful, and some pretty incredible tech happening as well. I mean, I love. I really do appreciate the use of Bayer to do the dither transparency. You can see just on the edge of the gun right here. Let me get something nice and contrasting. So on the edge of the gun, it's kind of that dot matrixy dither. I appreciate that very, very much. I also love this kind of Dead Cells-ish 3D to 2D, big, bold, chunky pixels that manage to capture dynamic lighting. I think it's just a wonderful bit of thing, and a wonderful bit of tech, a wonderful bit of art, and the package that it comes together in. I just think it's a slice of fried gold, to coin a phrase. So let us crack on. Said the other day, said Sunday morning, shotguns are melee weapons. this is an indisputable fact. Whoops. I just had to run out of shells. A bit of slap bass in the soundtrack too. It's even better than slap. It is synth slap. For those of you who don't know, Torlak, Tim Smith, is a bass player, as am I. I won't say kindred spirits because that'll make Tim uncomfortable, but we have music in common. Who dares? This is one of the things we didn't have to think about Quake and Doom was reloading, but I absolutely love it. I remember with the original Unreal, and if you've never played the original Unreal, which I'm pretty sure quite a few have. Oh no! I did that on Sunday morning, I should have remembered. Yes. Became aware a couple of... was it yesterday? I was talking to someone about Unreal. Oh, it was on Twitter. There was one of these things that went round, you know, post images of games when you were this age or from this year or whatever, or the year you were born. And someone was born in 1984 and the games that they were posting was Unreal 1998 basically. And there was someone replying to the thread who had no idea what the original Unreal was, and for those that think that it was Unreal Tournament was where it began and ended. No, Unreal 98 was a linear, narrative guided single player experience and was absolutely incredible for the time. I remember that being the moment where I kind of switched on to game dev as a serious career path. I say serious. But it's magnificent. How did we get onto Unreal? Oh yeah, reloading. So the way that Unreal handled magazine capacity, they would, I think, with the auto mag, the kind of pistol thing that you get. There was no reload mechanic, but they would click the last 3 rounds, I think. So you knew when it was, you knew when your magazine was going to empty. And it was very clever, I felt. So, if you hear 2 clicks and you were about to face off against something that needed more than 1 round, you would fire one into the sky. and know that you would carry on with it. You rat egg. Know that you would carry on with a full mag, and you would at least be not limited by you missing the large moving block. It's just Garrow, who are you and where is MD? So this gives us a convenient point to address. My name's Nick. I'm not MD, you're quite right, Garrow. But MD is my better half, and while she's on a compassionate hiatus at the moment, keeping the stream and the channel ticking over. So, for those who have joined since I last explained myself, I'm Nick. I'm MD's other half and a game developer, and playing through this brilliant first-person shooter called Prodeus, and chatting about all things game dev and memories of video games that have come and gone. As you can tell by my shirt, I like retro video gaming experiences, and this is floating my boat at the moment. It's pretty wonderful. Also, I guess it's an opportunity to keep the 2 checkpoints on the bounce. That's not normal. Still, it's an opportunity to play some games on MD's channel that she wouldn't ordinarily play. Pretty sure she'd get fairly catastrophically motion sick from this. She'd probably be able to play it better until she became sick too. So, if you've come tonight to hang out with MD, I am afraid she's otherwise disposed, and she's taking care of herself. She deserves a break. And those of you who have followed her for a few years are pretty aware of the sitch. So, we can afford her the respite. Shotguns are melee weapons. Oh, sorry. Lower the game by 15 to 20%? Okay. 20%. How's that, Joe? those not used to graphic violence on MD's channel, could apologise, I suppose. Oh, crumbs. 5% health. This is less than ideal. But these are the moments that, like, the original Half-Life, I was given Half-Life 1 22 years ago for Christmas by a great friend. And, I remember that game fiercely and fondly because of the times when you would have to face off against a marine or a zombie or something and you had 2 health. And it almost boiled down to pure luck whether you actually made it through. I suppose it wouldn't be a 1990s homage first-person shooter if you didn't get incredibly lost all the time. No, I'm incredibly lost all the time. No pixels were harmed in the making of this game. Let's hope not. What is that on? Tim? What are you talking about? I've seen others mentioning it. Oh, dude, Joe, Tenet? No more words. Oh, Tenet? Yeah, it's great. It's on 4K disc, if that's your flavour. HBO Max, I think? But it is mind-expanding and very, very pretty. Christopher Nolan movie. Felt like something else was getting at me then. Yeah. Now, do you know, I'm pretty sure there might be a secret down there. A little me getting, thank you, me getting singed toes. So, let's see if it's worth the risk. Chaos, what? Pickups, yes. Time to get back on the shotgun because it's awesome in this. Oh, how did you survive that? Hot Bruce Wayne, good evening. You join us tonight, 19 of you, thank you. Too flattering. Joining me, watching me fail at this brilliant little game. I keep saying little, that's unfair, because it's a brilliant achievement. Although every game has to be a 90-hour extravaganza. For those of you who played Ikaruga, if you play Ikaruga well, it only takes you 35 minutes. But then I've never met anyone who plays it well. People who are good at Ikaruga are rare as rocking horse poo. And I think it's its prequel or its original Radiant Silvergun. Shit. Ah, shit. Time for a rocket launcher or two, I think. Oh. Idiot. Classic mistake. Fire a rocket in close proximity, you will nuke yourself. Well done. At Prodeus Game, if you're on the Twitter machine, follow them because they are making great stuff. No question. Good splash damage. Oh god, the blast radius on this thing is huge. Get a decent amount of damage. I thought I was out of range, but very good. For those of you who are into feel, this feels amazing. Feels amazing. Oh, hello. Checkpoint. Joe, levels are still good. Mike's still okay. Hair still not there. No more pickups. Does not like it. Yeah, Joe mentioned that on Sunday morning, rocket jumps. I'm pretty sure these people will have built it in, but I've never been in a position where I wanted to try. Plus, I've never seen anything out of range vertically that makes me think that there's a rocket jump. Game looks cool, looks like one of those games actors play in movies when they need to show their character as a gamer. Do you know, I know exactly the kind of game. It's like some... Whenever you see what's called a screen prop, right? And someone's looking at a screen and it grates on me, you know, Bruce? Like when you're looking at, I don't know, a hacker or some other kind of computer expert. And they're moving the mouse, but you know it's a keyframed animation of a mouse pointer and it's super linear and the speed's the same. It's like, come on, treat the audience with a little bit of respect, will you? It's not hard. Test it after any check. Well, yeah, I might give it a go next time. Deaths 3, time 16. What probably felt for you people like hours. Difficulty hard. Badge of honor. Right then, everybody. We're at the Overland map. What's next? A Rune. Genesis Part 2. Mega Drive 2. 21 people. Thank you for showing up this evening. I rode in. Good evening. It's 6:38 in the mountains. And it's -10 outside, so I'm glad I'm in here playing this game. My PC is keeping the room warm. Actually, it's a fairly good PC. It's not running too hot. Do you know, it's funny. I got a PDF the other day, and it was the Star Trek The Original Series Writer's Guide. These are the things that I like to look for. Sure, yeah, that's a great idea. I will mod Tim in. If I can find out how to mod Tim in. Actually, I think MD's watching. She can mod him in. Tim, if people swear, if people are abusive, just kick them or put them in timeout for a little bit. Let them think about what they've done. Steve, Anomaly 7777. Welcome, Steve. Oh yeah, quite right, Joe. Arodin's here, and he's mod. Nice. And MD is there. She is. Nice. We absolutely do. You see, I've got credibility now. Yes. It's only been 9 years. Right. 24 people. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. And Torlak is now a mod. Welcome to the club, Tim. Awesome. Okay, so Genesis Part 2. Christ knows what's going to happen here. But I'm glad you're here to follow along. The first discovered rune was immovable. A fortress was constructed around it for research. And on that bombshell... I should have saved. I should have saved. And of course, because this is a little bit more hardcore than your usual, you can't save once you're in gameplay. Outstanding. Right, so we're here at least until I finish this. What's this? Plasma. Wow. Hot Bruce Wayne, yo Nick, I need your professional opinion about CDPR. They are in a tight situation, but they're not gonna go bankrupt, are they? I still want my Witcher 4. They are not going away. Steve, they sold 13 million copies of Cyberpunk or Witcher 3? Do you know, that is satisfying. A sniper rifle that fires fast close up. Lesson 1, know your audience. Haha, big smiles all around, kids. Missed. They're not rat bastards, these star things. Seriously. Yeah, Bruce, my professional opinion is of little use there. I think it's, if I was an accountant, it might be worth a little more, but as Steve said, 13 million copies. You will get your Witcher 4. I think if my cynicism about the games industry is worth anything, it is that IP is stronger than a dev team. So if they're really in trouble, which I don't think they are, it'll be made regardless, because there is always someone that wants to capitalize on the established audience. It might also be in CDPR's best interest to maybe give it away. I mean, it depends on how they weather this particular storm, because Cyberpunk has not gone. Well, maybe it's gone brilliantly well. I mean, I don't know how cynical to be. Is there really no such thing as bad press? Can this be ultimately spun? Is this the first in a long line of steps towards even massive companies taking on free-to-play model? Does this establish that the audience will actually play, you know, buggy stuff? And that's not intended as a slur against CDPR. From what I've heard, Cyberpunk is very buggy. But then mileage varies. I mean, you get some people who are, some gamers who are prepared to get the absolute most out of it, and they will play regardless, and some who will drop it at the first sign of a bugged mission. Just hate the fact they had to lie about performance on last gen. From what I understand, it wasn't such that it was a lie about it, they simply did not mention it. They focused on next-gen performance. Or they focused on the next-gen release. Oh god, am I in trouble? Yeah, I'm in trouble. Pick them off from range, you know better. Really good railgun vibes from this. Anyone play Quake 3 Arena? Remember that last level against Zero chessboard? Magic. So yeah, I don't know, Bruce. I don't know. I mean, I remember us doing DAI and we did Gen 3 when it was a Gen 3 port of a Gen 4 game, and it was really shoehorned onto those platforms. It was a real challenge, and it was a big relief to an awful lot of people when various other games were Gen 4 only. We didn't have to, frankly, didn't have to bother, because it's hard work. Oh, shit. Sure was, Tim. Oh, hardware, Gen 3, yeah, quite right. It is no joke. I mean, it's funny, right? Like, I remember working at Sony when the PlayStation 3 was approaching and hearing from all kinds of people around the industry saying that the PS3 was an absolute dog to develop for. I think if you're an artist in the industry, and you know your day-to-day is in preparing 3D assets for video games, a lot of those difficulties you're never going to get anywhere near, because it's going to be in export pipelines, exporters, you know, little chunks of software to actually prepare your meshes and textures for the engine that you've got to use. But I think most of all, when you're working for a platform holder, you don't have any frame of reference. I think if you're working for an Ubi or an EA or, you know, one of the big multi-platform companies, having to make different versions of the same game for different platforms means that you have to, you know, you've got that comparison right there all the time, and it can be like, you know, quite eye-rolly. It's like, oh shit, we've got to do the PlayStation 3 version of this. I want it all to be Xbox 360 because the Xbox 360 is a PC and it's a dream to develop for, or a port for. So yeah, when you're a platform holder and you've got the PlayStation 3 to write games for, it's you know, you don't really know any different. If you've got to do a port of your PlayStation 3 game back to PS2 or PSP, maybe, you know, that is similar on some levels, I don't know. But even then, you can really readily admit to yourself, well, I can't complain over the PlayStation Portable because it's, you know, it's a third the console that the PlayStation 3 is. And you accept that as a part of the challenge of, you know, developing that game. But the way that our company was set up, and our company was Studio Liverpool, we were doing Wipeout and Formula 1. You know, the same team would not work on two platforms. You would have, at least not at the same time, you would have a smaller team working on the PlayStation 2 version. Let's do a case study. For Formula 1 Championship Edition, for those that are familiar even a little bit with that franchise, Championship Edition was a PlayStation 3 launch title and Studio Liverpool's first PS3 game. But in the same year that we did the PlayStation 3 version, we did Formula 1 06 for PS2 and for PlayStation Portable. And Cambridge Studio, I think they worked on it as well. I think some were seconded to do reports or assets or something. But there were two discrete teams. There was the PS3 team, and then there was the PlayStation 2/PSP team. Tim Smith, everybody. For those who don't know, PlayStation 3 required a programming model that most programmers at the time did not understand. It is still a technically excellent platform. Steve Anomaly 7777, Steve Anderson, everybody, one of my friends from work and a great colleague. Deliberately limiting reviews to PC only and embargoing until after scores are in always feels questionable. Yep, you're not wrong there. Bruce, PS3 had 256 megs of RAM and VRAM, and they still managed to run GTA 5. Was it 256 megs of VRAM, or was it shared? I forget. It's been that long. I think it didn't it have 512 megs of system RAM. Oh, what the shite's that? That is something I need to run away from. Well, that's not distressing. God, okay, does the lightning chain through them? Because that's a piece of genius if it's true. It does. I doff my cap. "22 people sticking with us. You flatter me, you all do. I am not MD, you are not imagining things. And if you were, what kind of imagination is that? The Wii had only 24 megs of VRAM. I don't believe that for a second. Really? The Wii had only 24 megs of VRAM. I don't believe that. PS2 only had 32. Steve, is that right? Because I'm trying to think, like, the GameCube was the PS2's contemporary, wasn't it? And the Wii came out after the GameCube, so how could it have less? Tim, you're quite right. Oh wow. 24 people in. You're all legends. Save and quit. Now, something just opened, didn't it? Was it another chaos generator? Let's have a breather. How are we doing? 55 minutes in. Thank you for joining me and staying with me. We're doing this because MD's on a little bit of a hiatus for this week, next week, maybe into the new year. And I am keeping the channel ticking over with her permission. I'm not actually hijacking things. Steve, I was pushing Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 really hard today in VR on my new GPU. It was using 13.5 gigabytes of VRAM. That means that the card has more. What did you get? Is it a 3090 Ti? Oh no, it'd be RTX, won't it? An RTX 3090 Ti with 24 gigs. Oh, it was Radeon. You see, now I'm playing this on an RTX 2080 that I got about 18 months ago. And it's... Granted, I don't think... Do you know, Steve... for those that don't know, Anomaly7777 is Steve Anderson, and a lovely guy, great friend, and a great colleague. And when I was streaming this for the first time about a month ago, we were saying, yeah, I'd love to see stats on this game. And Prodeus, if you are hiding in the chat somewhere, you are aware that I was streaming it tonight. I'm sure you've got nothing else to do. Can we have a debug menu? Because I would love to be able to put triangles per second, you know, shader complexity, lighting, all that kind of stuff. Because there's some, I'm pretty sure there's some incredibly clever stuff happening every frame on this thing. Yeah, I'd love to see how this plays on a lesser card. Because honestly, they deserve everything that's coming. Because I'd love to see this with a I don't know, Switch port or something. Love to. I mean, part of me thinks that it's yeah, thought crossed my mind playing this on Sunday. Do you know, I'm going to flip this over to the chat so that you can we can have a little bit of a talk. So I was looking at some of the stuff close up in this game, and thinking to myself, are these textures set to nearest neighbor and no filtering, or is every pixel a quad? In which case, this screen that we were looking at just before is like, I don't know, you could, yeah, there'd be tens of millions of triangles every frame, and you know, it's a way of doing it, I guess. Yeah. I feel like the S, can we render this on a card? Yeah. Nick, what was your first console? Excellent question. What was my first console? Let's see. I had a C64 when I was a kid. I got for my 11th birthday, or 12th. 11th, 1990. And then I think Mega Drive, I think, was my first. And I got that for Christmas 1992, 28 years ago, coming up. And then I swapped a radio control car for a Master System 1, which was not a great deal. And then was given a Game Gear for Christmas, I think 93, which was a great console. I painted it in camouflage pattern, tiger stripe, which was not a great decision. So the Game Gear that I have is one that I replaced it with about 15 years ago. I got it off eBay in great condition, and it still works really well. There's a mod, and it's called a McWill, I think, and it's a backlit, or a backlit LCD screen mod for the Game Gear, which I'm super tempted to try. Game Gears are pretty notorious with going through capacitors. They blow capacitors real easy. Yeah, I'm tempted to I might get another cheap Game Gear that works as a donor, so that if I do screw this one up, I could transfer the parts over. But yeah, the McWill screen, I'm pretty sure that someone somewhere has done like a very large capacity mobile phone battery mod for the Game Gear, so that you don't have to burn through 6 AA batteries every, whatever it was, 200 minutes or something stupid. And then you got your Mega Drive power adapter, and you plug that in anyway, thus removing all virtue of it being a handheld and a portable. But still, it let you play Sonic the Hedgehog and Micro Machines and Columns and Mortal Kombat if you were real brave. But yeah, a little break in the action on the hour. The hour has just ticked over. Thank you for staying with me this evening. So yeah, for those that have not seen this face on this channel before, I'm Nick, MD's lesser half, and while she's recuperating from last week's very sad news, I'm keeping her channels ticking over, and hijacking them with streams of games she's never going to play. So I don't know whether it's better. I don't know whether variety is better than leaving the channels dormant. They probably. I don't know. I hope this is not a disservice to all of our hard work. So yeah, I hope you're all doing real well this evening. There's not a lot of YouTube chatting going on. Lots and lots of Twitch chatting. So hopefully you find a lot on YouTube are doing all right, but on Twitch we seem to be doing okay. Yes. Let's have a little bit of a review. PS3 had Hot Bruce Wayne. PS3 had 256 megs of RAM and VRAM, and they still managed to run GTA 5. So does that mean that GTA 5 is actually a Gen 3 game made pretty for Gen 4, or it's a Gen 4 game ported back to Gen 3? I think it's the former. I think if it was a successful and complete game experience on Gen 3, the Gen 4 version was a prettified old Gen game. But so there's a question for the chat. When a new hardware generation, or at least a new console hardware generation comes along, are games developers, or should games developers be on the hook for releasing a generation of games that can only be achieved on those new those consoles with the new hardware? Or do you think it should be tried and tested formulae for making great games that doesn't really matter what platform it was developed for? It just give me wholesome, great playing, great looking, great sounding, great performing exclusives. That would be my question. When I was working for Sony, new console came out, the mantra was very much, can you do this on any other system? And you know, when we were doing PlayStation 3, Formula 1, it was a challenge. How do we make this a game that is going to shift platform as well as units of the game? Natalia, that's very flattering. Not sure I'd agree, but that's very flattering. Yeah, the mantra was, do this, you know, make this game for PlayStation 3, but make it only for PlayStation 3. When you're a first-party developer, you have to shift hardware as well as your software. So it's not good enough that you make a game good or pretty or performant or, you know, with great feel. You also had to make sure that it could only be done on that, because why bother otherwise? So Formula 1, I remember we had the design lead on Formula 1, Nick Burkham, who was one of the original Wipeout guys. He and I think his brain trust as well in the design department came up with this brilliant thing where you would have your PlayStation 3 in your living room and your big plasma TV, such was the early 2000s, or 2005 anyway, and you would have the PlayStation portable version, and you would have your two PlayStation portable versions, and your two PlayStation portables, or PlayStations portable. So you had your big screen here, and then your two PlayStation portable consoles, each running a copy of the game and conducting an ad hoc Wi-Fi connection to the PlayStation 3 console. And the idea was you would play the PS3 game full screen on your plasma, and the PSPs would be your wing mirrors on the side of the car. And because it was the full game, it would use its tracks and its cars, and you're basically having a networked online game between them, but it was just giving you the reverse view over the rear wheels on the left and the right side. It was a brilliant concept, and I think they even executed it in prototype. And I'm not sure that it's shipped. I would love to actually experience that, because I was well into Formula 1. I am well into Formula 1, the sport, but playing it then, you know, that was the premiere version. Yeah, super clever idea. I mean, this was it. Like, what could you do on the PlayStation 3 for the games you worked on that you couldn't do on another console? PlayStation 3 was a fully 3D capable games console. When we were working on MotorStorm 3, the company that I was with, or the Sony studio I was with at the time, Evo, came up with this amazing thing, and I spoke about this a little bit on Sunday morning. You know the way that 3D glasses work? Active shutter, you've got polarized image and then polarized lenses, so that your left eye sees the left frame and your right eye sees the right frame, and you get a parallax effect. We had couch co-op, or couch head-to-head, so two people playing head-to-head. One person on the left had a pair of glasses with left-only lenses, and the person on the right had right-only lenses, and each would see the pertinent frame, right? So the right lens player 2, could see only their view because it was polarized against the left view, which you could only see if you had the left lens. Absolute genius idea. Really, really good genius. But yeah, solved the GoldenEye problem. You didn't have to make the cardboard fort where you were cutting it in half. Trouble is with that, no one cared for 3D. Like, I had a 3D TV and I had 3D movies, but I watched them once and said, yeah, that's quite clever. Never watched them again. But yeah, very, very clever. 12 people bought it. Such is the problem with clever ideas. Should we continue? 21 people. Yes, I think we should. Let's play this. Do you know, switching from Streamlabs back to the game and otherwise really makes me want a Stream Deck, because it's just so convenient. But then that makes me a streamer, and I don't want to be a streamer. I'm just an enthusiastic amateur filling in for my girlfriend. Right then, everybody, 21 people, an hour and 10 minutes. Let's fail more. A device known as the Chaos Generator emits a strong disruption field powered by an unknown source. I'm reckoning that source is a rune. But let's find out. Keep the chat coming, everybody. This is good fun. Well, it's fun for me. I won't speak for you. It might be torture for you. If it's torture, say. Hello, what's this? Ammo crates. I've got to work for my ammo now. Shit. Minigun. So I've got no sniper ammo. Minigun. Applause. Spin the barrel up. I love that. Right, let's do this. That's a rocket. I like. Going inside? We're going inside. Blue key. Everyone loves a lab complex. I don't know what. Am I talking too much? Or not enough? Or is it about right? I don't know. I don't know. Are there rules? Probably. I kind of get the feeling this is kind of like watching James May play video games. If you haven't seen his O Cook, watch it on Prime, because it's good fun. shields. What am I not hitting? Secret exit. Jesus. Oh, that's no fun. Yeah, I'm gonna play that again. That felt like cheating. Playing again will reset your map progress. And what? Hot Bruce, if you're still here, you asked about CDPR. What is your fear with CDPR, and is it kind of amplified, exacerbated by what's going on with Cyberpunk? Now I've got to keep my eye open for what to do here, because it says destroy the shields. So that's great. I don't know how. As someone looking in from the outside, I know it would be confusing, so many mixed messages and so many people with agendas. You're not wrong, Tim. I think so many, and you know, this isn't limited to video game drama. This is every social media cause. In so many cases, it's driven by people that want the clicks, want the likes, who have no experience of what it's actually like doing or being whatever is in question, or the subject. Like the furious responses from so many people that have never worked a day in game dev in their lives. And, you know, I have feelings on the topic, but I'm feeling I need to be careful with my opinions, because they are based on very little in terms of fact. Oh god, I thought that was lava. something I am painfully aware of lately is the idea that the industry is changing very quickly, even away from... Like, I've been in it for about as long as Tim. Maybe not quite as long, because Tim's really old. But you know, even in the last... It feels like it changes by month. I mean, one of the principles I work by is that work be finished, you know, like, I don't like this idea that it's kind of strange, right, like, I don't like putting my name to unfinished work or low quality stuff, and that's not to say that I've never shipped stuff that I'm not happy with. I absolutely have, because you know, that's occasionally a nature of the beast. But the way that I was brought up, the way that I was educated, was to be a commercial artist, whether that was game dev, illustration, photography, graphic design. And at one point, it might have been any of those. There is a notion of time, deadline, there is a notion of cost, budget, and there is a notion of quality of execution, both technically and in the quality of the idea, you know, the concept. Conceptually, it has to be strong. And if you can nail all three of those things, you are perceived to have a value that maybe your competition doesn't. And these industries are competitive. Now, if you've got a circumstance where people are encouraged to leave work half finished, or it's acceptable to half finish something, or, you know, ship something that isn't finished, there is an awful lot, and this is not development snobbery. You know, I freely admit that this is my own feeling on the topic, because this is a creative industry. You completely eliminate one or two of those criteria, or you not eliminate, you simply, you know, you void their validity. You diminish the importance of quality. In this case, execution quality, and you also diminish the validity of deadline, or you can diminish the validity of deadline, because if you don't have to deliver anything on time or to quality, then how in that kind of market do you define yourself as having worth or having value? I don't know. Maybe it's just about being a member of a team that produces something that's of a holistic, appropriate quality, and you intentionally disappear into the background. In my view, that gives people more places to hide in an already in an industry that's already got plenty of hiding places. I'm being cynical now, I really shouldn't be. 19 people. Some got tired of me ranting. I think it's a topic that has a lot of nuance, I think. Like, maybe it's just about, or maybe, you know, I'm thinking this CD Projekt Red situation. The conversation seems to be one that is punctuated as well as fueled by complaints. Complaints about bugs, stability, ultimately value for money. But I think also it's I would be super conscious or super curious anyway, to find out how many people who played Cyberpunk also play open beta, free to play, not free to play, early access, where there is a certain element of unfinished that is accepted as a side effect of a game being in early access. Maybe after that, if that is a thing, maybe it's just about it being on the gamer's terms, and that's where the, you know, that's what the difference is. Like if I get a game which is in early access, there might even be disclaimers, you know, this is in early access, it's pre-alpha or pre-beta or something, and you play this and you take on the notion that it is not a complete experience yet. But then mileage for early access changes and isn't consistent. Yeah, managing expectations. You're not wrong. It is about managing expectations, and when people don't have their expectations met, that's when, you know, that's when you get difficulty, that's when people get their shout on. For right or wrong. People are entitled to their opinions after all. See you in a bit, Tim. It gets murky when the moving goalposts of quality slide almost inversely with how fun it is. CDPR is by all measures an extremely buggy game. CDPR. Cyberpunk. Yeah, quite right, yeah. And it got 9s. How do tomorrow's producers and leaders process that information? Well, I care less about tomorrow's producers and leaders and care more about today's. Like, you know, I'm a leader in the games industry right now. I have teams that I am responsible for. I'm responsible to. I try to steer people based on what I've experienced and what I think. I try to gauge expectation as to what the what the best case scenario and the realistic scenario is for a bunch of work that we might have to achieve. But at the same time, the work that I do, I don't want to disappoint anybody, so I've got to be realistic about what I can achieve with the capacity that I have. Today's producers and today's leads are seeing other games come to market that earn profit that are not finished. I've been part of those games and I have seen other studios make those games. I don't like it at all. But the games industry, I think you can... there was something that came to my mind a few years ago, which was the notion of compression. Like, Steve, you'll be real familiar with the notion of compression when it comes to textures, and it's about taking the essence of it and squeezing every bit of visual quality out of a reduced amount of space, where you know you're going to compromise quality for the ability to have breadth of experience. So when a single 2048 TGA costs whatever, however many meg, we can compress it down to 4:1, so that you can have 4 textures instead of 1. Great. Do you want the variety or do you want the quality? Variety. So that notion of compressing, of getting every possible iota of opportunity out of a very reduced space anyway, seems to proliferate. That notion proliferates such that you've got people working their fingers to the bone to try to get every possible opportunity out of every minute of every day, and even then you're sacrificing quality in the name of variety. I don't know. I don't know what the answers are. If I had the answers, I would tell you, but I don't. I don't know. The thought that I have right now is that the worst thing that can happen for the rest of the industry in terms of the quality of the product that we are expected to make is that Cyberpunk does really well. If it is as buggy as people say, I mean, MD's playing it. I think she might stop playing it because it's, you know, an awful lot of the systems are broken. And that's just, you know, what's the point if you can't get consistent behavior of AIs? What's the point? Yeah. It's like a racing game where the car sometimes turns left when you point it right. That's a bug. I don't know what the answer is, but we'll keep going, and maybe the answer will present itself in the next half hour. And you know, I think that is just a trend of getting the most opportunity out of the least time. I mean, I'm saying that and also thinking Cyberpunk was a 10-year dev cycle. I mean, maybe it's in every game producer's interest to make every game a 2.5-year, 3-year dev cycle, knowing that the crunch at the end of that, or the stress at the end of that, is going to be proportional to the time invested and also your expectation. But the problem is that not every studio is equal. You know, you get a CD Projekt Red that does XYZ with a certain amount of people in certain time and certain money, and then you get Red Dead Redemption 2 from Rockstar, and it's like, you know, 3,000 people over however many years with whatever budget, and it's by all accounts an absolutely exceptional experience. You know, what's the QA staff like? How pedantic were the QA allowed to be? Because honestly, you don't get something like Cyberpunk because of a weak QA. You get that because the QA staff, who are contractually obliged to be pedantic, are not allowed to be, for whatever reason, usually time. But I think, Steve, you said a month ago, would love to have seen the not the TRCs, the other one, the certification process for Cyberpunk, to see what actually got through. Save and quit. Do you know, Arodin, that is a perfect question. Steve, I think it's an important discussion for right now. I think what is to stop a very large company releasing their game into early access in a buggy state? It would represent a significant paradigm shift, but then it would place the games industry as pretty much the only entertainment industry where it was then acceptable to release something for money that was not finished. I mean, fundamentally, I instinctively have a problem with this. Yeah, they might be doing all right. You know, Warframe did that, but then they're doing all right. Maybe, but it's all on the basis of the audience being understanding to the point where they will accept a buggy game or an incomplete experience. And you know, maybe that's where the industry is heading. Maybe that's where it's pointed. You know, we get into a place a couple of years down the track where you just can't get a game that you can't expect to go onto a digital store or into a shop and buy a game that is finished when you buy it. I instinctively I don't like that, but the more that I see of the difficulty that big studios get into with their very, very large projects, that might be the cure for crunch. When the emphasis is on shipping something, not shipping everything, maybe that's how you cure that kind of culture. Maybe, I don't know. It's difficult to talk about this without talking about it in terms of greed or overambition or hubris. It's really, really tricky. And I'm not ascribing those words to anybody. But when you've got, you know, finite resources and ambition beyond your capacity, it boils down to something akin to hubris or arrogance or, you know, greed. So the real Anakill, I don't agree. I think you could get a brand new experience, but it would be an experience of a totally different type. I think it would be something like this. Prodeus. This is early access, but this feels like a finished game. Not seen a bug. I've not seen a hitch. Not seen any inconsistencies with gameplay. Not had any problems. It behaves absolutely as I expect it to. If they'd have released this as episodic instead of early access, where the promise of extra content was just called episode 2 instead of the full thing, I don't think it would have made any difference to this experience, and I think they would have been able to charge just as much. I think this was 21 Canadian when I got it a month or so ago, and that's $1 a level ish, because I think there's 19 levels in the early access version of it. It's super sweet and just, you know, and a really, really great example of what early access can be. But you know, I think if the point of early access is to learn, for a dev to learn about what your audience wants and likes, you have to treat them with some respect. There will always be clean 15 to 20 hour story titles that don't really need early access. Yeah, I agree. But I'd like to think that something that you need to be able to play smoothly without any impediment from bugs or otherwise needs to be considered as a finished thing, and it needs to be scoped super accurately. It needs to be, you know, you have to maintain course. You can't change course. You can't involve surprises during, you know, mid-cycle that mean that people who were banking on shipping a game with XYZ feature now have to do X plus Y plus Z plus features, and it takes an order of magnitude more work to get those things in. It's not fair on the team, and the decisions that those decisions are. It's very, very difficult to know what the circumstances need to be in order to get those decisions through, because if it's for their own sake, that's irresponsible, I feel. 1:35 in. Let's get back to this, and keep the questions coming. I know we're reduced numbers now, we're down to 16, but those 16 that are still here, thank you so much for sticking with me. It's been a good laugh so far. Steve, could you give us a little bit of feedback? Is the audio good? Voice game mix, is it still alright? Awesome, cheers Steve. Futuristic retro vibe. Good evening. Good evening. Bon evening. Memoriam. Toward the heavens, on the highest mountain, a monument was constructed for the lords and masters of this dimension. Let's find it, and let's destroy it. I assume. Watch your corners, everybody. Things are gonna get sticky. And bloody. And sticky. Oh, is this a credits roll? Anton Hand, Chris Oliveri, Dalton Ryan. That's a great name. Oh shit. This is weird. This might not be a credits roll. What's going on? I'm a little confused. This looks like a... Are these contributors? Alpha testers? Maybe. Yeah, yeah. How cool. How cool. Oh, a Rodin. Backers. Yeah, could be. Could be. Am I maxed? Gracious, I am. Steve, look at that logo for the ammo. Hilarious. Okay, what have we got to do here? Ooh, crumbs. That's where I came in. Oh. Oh, I'm in trouble, aren't I? Oh god, oh god. I must have rockets, come on now. concentrate a bit. Armor is of no use right now. No health. Oh man, my eyes have locked open. I've experienced that since Quake 3. Oh god, the rune. Is this gonna unleash hell when I pick this up? No. Yes. Where's that portal that I go through? "19 people, welcome." Genesis Part 2, I've done that already. Okay. Excavation. Constructed to examine the aftermath of Event 1, this excavation site is used as a major hub for military operations. How are we doing? Are we all okay? About 15 minutes left on the stream, I guess. That'll round it off with 2 hours. But thank you for spending so long with me this evening. It's been a slice. Well, they've been generous enough to give me full health for this. They must want me to do stuff. Watch your angles. Shotgun time. Oh, damn you. Cheeky buggins. What's that? Rocket launcher. Excellent. Press space to shoot sticky grenades. Oh, is grenades? Oh, fucking standing. Yes, I'll take some health. I'll follow the trail of magazines to the top level, thank you. Green key, of course. Nice. Nice. Oh, I like that very much. Bravo. That is worth the price. Very good indeed. The ground. She is moving. Oh, no. I like a grenade launcher. Very much. That's any use against this. Yes. A remarkable use. Oh god, that's satisfying. I know it's bloodthirsty, Mum. Sorry. It's a lovely grid shader effect as well. Hey bro. Shiranjeev Raj. Hey bro, where is our pro gamer? She's taking a break for a little bit. If you follow her on social media, actually I haven't said this for a little while, so in case anyone new has joined and they're wondering who the hell I am. I'm MD's other half, and last week, we got some very sad news, and MD's taking a little bit of a hiatus from public-facing stuff for the time being, but I'm kind of keeping the channel ticking over, making sure the notifications still pop up. I'm playing games that, frankly, she's never likely to play for fear of making herself sick. So, like I say, just making sure when people happen upon the Twitch channel or the YouTube channel, there's something happening. Because she's put an awful lot of work into what goes on with her Twitch and YouTube channel over the last 10 years. And I just wanted to keep things ticking along. And I finished work last Friday for the Christmas period, so I've got the time. Oh shit, still alive. So, Shiranjeev, I hope that meets with your approval, and welcome to this evening's fail gallery with... Oh shit, who's doing that to me? Oh god, I love a grenade launcher. Except for the one in Quake 3, because it was tragic. But then I guess it was overpowered. In terms of its explosive... Oh shit. In terms of its explosive yield. Interrogation room. A. I do wish these things were claymation. I like to think that they were. I'm gonna hit a key or hit a gate. Here they come. Some health, or there you go. headshots matter. Should have worked that out in the first 5 minutes, but I didn't. I like to think that this shotgun is more powerful when you run at an opponent. Probably isn't. Probably just the key to feel. Like I'm a big fan of this stuff, especially the Quakes. But here's a question for you. For those that have played Quake Arena or Quake 2, I remember playing with people who thought that quad damage was a shield. And it just so happened that when they had quad damage enabled, they played so well they didn't get hit. So it felt like they were invincible. They just didn't get touched. And it makes me think that there's something in that, you know, like you make a player feel like they're just awesome. There was a point in Unreal, the original, the first, the single player, when I forget what the level. It was about 2/3, 3/4 of the way through, and you start the level and you're swimming. And you swim through like this underwater tunnel. And you come up into a pool that's in like a lab. And you've got the ASMD shock rifle. And just as you reach the pool, the music starts, and it's a brilliant track. And it makes you feel invincible. And just, it feeds into that whole thing like I just couldn't miss. There are feelings to playing video games that you just don't get in any other medium, because this forces you to earn progress like no other medium does. With movies and other linear consumables, it's there whether you are good at reading or not, you know. Can you read competitively to earn progress with a book? Maybe. But the feeling in a game where you're playing and you're doing it your way, the game allows you to impart your personality onto what goes on and how you do things, and it's not just feeding you things. I think that's one of the most important feelings that you get. When it's you, they just give you the controller, they sit you down, they let you play. Imagine that. Speaking of music, Tim. That's a lot of blood. Love that little blue flash. Catches the eye. It's like, yep, there's health. You need health. Turn right. And here we are. Curious. Why did it force me down there if there's only... brought the... That's the second time. That's such a stupid fail. 17 viewers, okay. 2 hours. We'll make this the last. For you. Oh god, that's fun. But it has been 2 hours. I have spent 2 hours of your time. And I thank you for it, because it's been really good fun. Menu. Save and quit. I think we'll leave it there. At 1.5 minutes past the second hour. I think that's a convenient point to leave it. Plus, I'm pretty sure MD's going to be fuming that I've been taking over her stuff for 2 hours. I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. It's been a good laugh. I haven't died too many times. But, yeah, we'll probably leave it there. Cheers, Arodin. Thank you, everybody else, for sticking around. Shiranjeev, Raj, hopefully you're okay with me taking up some of your time. You're probably not in the chat anymore. Tim, thanks for spending pretty much the entire time. Steve Anderson, thank you very much. Follow all of these fine people on or around social media, because they're good eggs. The best. Anakil, good game. True. Thanks for spending so much time. I'll probably do this again over the Christmas break, because it's a good release and it forces me to play games for 2 hours with permission. But take good care of yourselves. Love you all. We all love MD. Obviously, this is why we're here. And yeah, as long as I'm doing that, I will keep you posted. What I will say, and just to kind of sign off, there have been some, dozens of people who have kind of come forward with gestures of sympathy for MD. As a lot of you already know, her mum passed away midweek last week, and obviously it's a very sad time, very sensitive time, but you've all been incredibly generous with your gestures of sympathy, as I say. can't say thank you enough. They really, really help. And a few of you have even kind of pinged me with messages. I'd like to buy MD something. I'd like to send something through the post. Could you give me your address? What I've suggested to people, if you do want to recognise her mum or dedicate something to her mum, I just suggested find a local cancer support charity or cancer research charity and make a donation in her mum's name. And her mum was called Petra. We would be absolutely thrilled. MD especially would be absolutely thrilled if you did something like that. So if you are moved to offer gestures of sympathy, such to actually make a donation or a purchase or something, I think that would be just about the best thing that you could do. So yeah, thanks for all the well wishes, and again, thanks for sticking with me for the last couple of hours. It's been really good fun. Take care, everybody. Be safe. Wear masks. Don't go out. It's a new world, and there is a virus around. So let's do our bit. Okay. Thank you very much for all of your attention and support.